for tuning into this episode. This is all possible through Elite Recruits. I would not be able to do this myself. I'm just getting started in this journey, and I'm fully invested into making a positive impact on athletes' lives. And I'm going to work really hard to bring you guys guests that have an important message for you, that can talk to you about their journey on the way to the top and kind of the challenges that they face along the way, but also future superstars that are currently in the midst of facing those challenges and what they are doing to overcome them. I hope this brings value to you guys. I hope at least one of you per episode takes something out of this and, truly embrace the uniqueness in your journey and understand that you are one of one. Hello, everyone. My name is Omar Almodovar. I am the founder and CEO of Elite Recruits. Elite Recruits is the fastest growing recruiting company in the country. We help athletes get connected to college coaches and opportunities. I'm also your host for the One of One podcast, where the unique personalities of current and future superstars share their journey and experience and talk about how they got to where they are today and how they'll get to where they want to be tomorrow. Today I have a very special guest for the first episode, someone I consider a dear friend and a brother of mine. I want to introduce to you guys Boston Red Sox catcher Eli Marrero. Eli, thank you for coming on, man. First of all, I'm very happy for you to be here. It's a long time coming. My brother, someone I look up to. Thank you for taking the time to be out here today.
No, man, the pleasure is mine, man. Anytime that I could get together with you, it's a good time, so.
Appreciate that, man. So let's talk. I know we caught up a little bit last week. How's your off season going?
It's going well. In the process still rehabbing my injury that I had a couple months ago. Had surgery back in August 29th. Fractured my second metacarpal. Took a foul ball off the hand. So, But other than that, it's been going great. Training's been going good. I'm here at UM. Some of the guys with HR, just getting right. But it's going well.
Awesome, man. Glad to hear that. So take us through the beginning, man. Obviously, very, very touted prospect coming out of high school, grew up around baseball. Take me to the beginning. Where did you fall in love with the game? Do you have a specific memory?
I was kind of born into the game of baseball, Luckily, my dad got to play a little bit, so I was just kind of born into it. But I fell in love with the game just because I wanted to be just like my dad. I looked up to him. He was an idol of mine growing up. And a funny story, though, he actually put me into mixed martial arts when I was about 9 years old. So I had to choose at one point in time which way I wanted to go, but I chose the baseball route because I wanted to be just like him. But it started at a young age, at the age of 2. Just a little kid running around in diapers, hitting the ball, mom yelling because I was breaking things inside the house. But started at a young age, and then I'm here today still.
Awesome, man. And at that point, your dad is in the major leagues, right?
Yeah.
What team is he in when you first started playing?
St. Louis Cardinals. In 1997.
Awesome. And are you traveling around? Are you moving from city to city, or what's that like?
It was hard for me to remember everything as a newborn, but I do remember bouncing around, traveling here and there, different cities, especially when he got traded. He went from the Cardinals to Atlanta. Just kind of bounced around a little bit. And then at one point, I think I just told my mom that I was tired of traveling. I just wanted to stay home, and then we ended up not traveling as much. But just grateful for all the experiences that I got to witness while he was playing, and yeah.
And what's your earliest memory that you can remember? Just hanging around the clubhouse and seeing different guys. I'm sure at that point you don't even know who they are, but
you know what? At a young age, I thought you're just grateful to be running around a big old field. But I think one of the memories I do remember as a kid, I might have been like 3 or 4 years old. They just won the division. And I'm, again, 3 or 4 years old, and I'm getting beer and champagne sprayed on me. I have no idea how the rest of that night went, but that's probably one of the big-time memories that I remember, was being able to celebrate with those guys.
That's awesome. Guys like Mark McGwire, I'm sure. And
no, I think he was already gone.
Oh, this is with the Braves?
No, this was with the Cardinals back in 2000. I'm not sure if he was still there. He might have been.
I think we got Pops here in the studio today. We'll talk about him a little bit more later. Okay, so then at what age do you move back to Miami and kind of settle in back home?
About age 9. That's when I just kind of told my mom I wanted to be around my friends again and just and kind of just get back to being in Miami and just playing baseball, because we were traveling so much, and again, grateful that we were able to do that. But again, I just wanted to be around my friends that I grew up with and played with. So.
100%. And then so get back here when you're 9. Go through middle school, obviously playing. Are you still doing martial arts at this point, or you're kind of just stuck to
No,
baseball?
I mean I'll dabble a little bit here and there. I'll use my dad as a punching bag and grapple with him, but nothing too serious. No.
Okay, got you. And then, so you get to high school, you went to Coral Gables High School. You guys were a very solid team at that. I was a little bit younger, but I think my freshman year I got to play against you guys a little bit. Obviously a solid squad. Kind of take me through, your high school years. Obviously you're very touted out of high school. What was that process like?
It was good. So before I went to Gables, I ended up going to Coral Reef Senior High. Because my dad's an old high school coach there, so shout out to Dave Paseglia. Guy's a genius, man, old school guy, super hard nosed. But it was good. Transferred to Gables my sophomore year. Got to be around all those guys that I grew up playing against. Coco Montez, Raymond Gonzalez, and all those other guys. But it was good. High school was fun. We were a very great team, and we messed around a little bit, but we also went about our work a good way, and it was good.
I saw a picture of you, and I have to ask, of you catching Jose Fernandez, late Jose Fernandez. Was that when you were in high school? Was he with the Marlins then? Kind of take me through that story, because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was fun, and it was very interesting. At the time, he was with Pinecrest. He was, I guess, I don't know what he was doing. He was training or whatever with Ron. I think he's the head owner of Pinecrest Physical Therapy. And he brought him by the field one time, and we were doing practice, and he needed a catcher. And so Coach Weiser pulled me aside and says, "Hey, Jose needs a catcher." And at the time, I'll be honest with you, I had no idea who he was. And I was just like, "Okay, yeah, I got you." And then he loved the way I catch. And then the friendship there just kind of kept going all the way through that one picture that you see on my Instagram in Marlins Park. But yeah, it was a heck of an experience to do that for him and just see the level of worth ethic on what it takes to get to that certain level, because he was a very special individual, and it's just sad that he's not with us today, but everybody remembers how good he was. So.
Yeah. How was that experience for you, as a high school kid getting to catch? Obviously, you didn't know exactly who he was at the time, but I'm sure as you kept catching him on, you realized the star that he was then, or he was going to be in the future. What was that experience like?
I think it was just being able to catch. When you're catching high school guys and then you catch a big leaguer like that, I mean, you could tell the difference with the stuff. I mean, I botched a couple pitches here and there, but I got the hang of it after. But the experience was good. I didn't really know at the time how big of a star he was going to be, but after, again, catching him 4 or 5 times and watching him do his thing on TV, then you kind of got to see how special he was gonna become.
Awesome, man. And obviously, we met a little later on when I was in college. You're already in pro ball, but I know that out of high school you're a very touted prospect. You PG All-American. Take me through your recruiting process in high school. What that looked like.
It was probably not your normal recruiting process. I kind of missed some of the big time tournaments just because I was always traveling, again, spending time with my dad training. But it was all good. I didn't actually sign to commit to university to my senior year of high school. A lot of guys at that time were committing in their sophomore year, and I just decided to take my time and wait. And I ended up going to East Cobb to play with the elite squad, and Mississippi State was there, and all their staff was there. They came to watch me play, and we had an off day during East Cobb, and decided to take a drive down with Coach Weiser, and saw the facilities there, and they just blew me away. And they didn't really have to do much recruiting when I drove down to Mississippi because the facilities spoke for themselves. But all in all, in the whole process, there were a couple other schools involved at the time. UM was involved, FAU. It was good. I mean, you got to just kind of understand, everybody's going to be nice to you and good to you, especially in those big Power 5 schools. But you just got to know at the time when you're on the come up, knowing what fits for you.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to be nice and they're going to feed you the things you want to hear. You should kind of take a step back and look at it from an outside perspective and really analyze everything.
Great. Yeah, that goes to my next point. So obviously you go on a visit there, you're blown away by the facilities, the staff, it's Power Five program, winning program. What did you expect going into it, and what was different about it? A lot of times, like you mentioned, coaches will paint a pretty picture to you before you get on campus. What were you not expecting when you got there?
Or to Mississippi State?
Yeah.
I mean, so to this day, I will say before I answer that question, that my freshman year I played for Coach John Cohen.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, he's the best coach I ever played for.
Mm-hmm.
He was as straightforward as anyone could be, old school guy. We just did everything by the book. He was just straight up honest with me. I got there, went on the visit, told me, hey, you come here, you're gonna play. I'm gonna give you a chance to play, and I couldn't ask for anything better than that. Just be straightforward with me, and I'm gonna give you 100% effort. And he kept his word. He gave me chances, and at the time as a freshman, we opened up against FAU opening day, and I made a couple mistakes. And he says, and he called me out for it, and I appreciate that because it made me better. So as the season went on, I was able to handle that pressure a little bit better.
And especially, this is your freshman year, right?
Yeah.
So as a freshman, behind the plate, in the SEC, Power 5, it's not something you see every day. It takes a special kind of guy, special kind of character to get to that point. So that's kudos to you. But I want to retrace a little bit. So what kind of sold you on Mississippi State that, these other schools close to home, you couldn't offer you? Like, as a Miami guy, everyone wants to go to UM or whatnot. What kind of was the decision factor for you?
For me at the time, and this is maybe my ego talking at the time. Again, this was back when I was a young kid. I've learned a lot and grew up a lot. But at the time, I didn't want to be like everybody else. I wanted to be different. Everybody was committing to UM and going there. And I think half of my team from Elite Squad that summer was committed to UM.
Yeah.
And I just, I wanted to kind of set the example that, we don't have to just go there. We can go to other places and do great things. And what sold me to go there was just to be different, and then the facilities. I mean, have you ever been there or got the chance?
I haven't, not yet, but
You got to check it out. I mean, the facilities will blow you away.
Yeah. So, okay, you coming from Miami, obviously we have a very unique culture, very different. What's one thing you wish you knew, you would have known before you got there that was a little different than you expected?
I wish I would have put on a couple pair of cowboy boots from time to time.
Before you got there.
Yeah. But it was a culture shock for sure. They look at you kind of in a different way at times, but it's all love there. I mean, when they get to know you, the fans there, they're very passionate about their game and their fans and their players. So I mean, it wasn't hard to adjust. You just kind of coming from here. High school baseball, it was, how it is.
Yeah.
It can get rowdy.
Politics, a lot of.
You go up there though, and it's literally all they got in a small town in Starkville. It's literally all they got is baseball. So they're gonna let you know when you're doing good, but they're definitely gonna let you know when you're doing bad.
Yeah, that's one thing I can attest to that for sure. Just growing up here, you see one thing, but then once I got to play a little bit all over the country, and you see that in these small cities, they're passionate, man. There's not a whole lot to do, so they really care about the game, and you got to show up with intensity and consistency every day to make them happy. If not, you're definitely gonna hear it.
Nah, most definitely.
So okay, take me. So you're at Mississippi State freshman year. You decide to leave during your sophomore year. You go to St. Thomas. Kind of touch a little bit on that, but also there's a lot of misconceptions. Guys just want to go D1. They want to play at a high level. A lot of people don't know, but St. Thomas is probably one of the year in, year out, one of the best NAIA schools in the country. Kind of, what was the difference in talent level? And I know you guys had a really good team there as well.
I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, I had a better time playing at St. Thomas than I did at Mississippi State. Just because the brotherhood that we formed there, was something special. Everybody played for each other there, and it was just good to be a part of that group. Talent level wise, it's good. It's still baseball. You still got to play. Again, is it Division I baseball? No. It's just like any level though you play in. Even throughout the minor leagues, you grow up every level. Nothing's the same. There is levels to certain things, but I mean the competition was still good, guys. There were a lot of guys who got drafted, a lot of guys who are still playing to this day. But I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than I did at Mississippi State playing for some. And it's weird. You think going to a Power 5 school, you're gonna love it. You're gonna do that. but it's just something about when everybody connects well and you create that brotherhood. It makes the game fun while you're playing, and that's the
100%.
biggest key for me. I mean,
100%, man. I can attest to that because, you spend more time with your teammates than you do your own family for most of the year. So if you guys have that special bond and connection, you uplift each other's game. You guys went to the World Series that year, right?
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was good. It was good. We came up short. We did, but no, we played. We gave 100% every day, and that's all coach would ask of us, and that's all we asked of each other. Was no matter what, we did everything that we could, and I just wish we could win a little bit further. And that was the team to do it. We wanted to be the first team to do it, but it's okay. Just glad that I was able to be a part of that team.
Yes.
I still talk to guys on that team today.
So from that team, you guys have a great run, fall just short of a national title. Then you get drafted by the Red Sox, start your pro career. I actually did a little research, and I saw you sign your first pro contract on June 21st, which is also your birthday. So take me through your 21st birthday. How was that day for you?
It was good. You could tell it was a good birthday present, no?
Yeah.
It was a good, special day for me. It's something as a kid I always wanted to do. And shout out to the Boston Red Sox and Willie Romay for taking a chance on me. I'm grateful to this day for it, but it was a special day. It was the start of my pro career, something I dreamt of as a kid. Like I said, I idolized my father, and I really wanted to do it, and I finally got the chance to do it. And I'm grateful that I'm still, to this day, doing it.
And so from knowing you personally and, getting the chance to work with you on my game for many off seasons in a row alongside your father, one thing that always stuck out to me was that you're an elite competitor, as he is. Even though we're having a good time in the house, getting better, but we're always competing. Is that something that you were born with? Is that something that you grew into as you had more success, or was there ever a moment that you can recall that you just flipped a switch?
I feel like the first couple of times you came to the house, we traumatized you.
All right, we can pull up some clips. Whatever.
I feel like we traumatized you a little bit. It took a couple of L's.
I was just preparing myself for the later on victories, which I did acquire quite a few of, if I recall correctly.
I don't know about that one, but
we got pops here. What do you think? Did we? There was some definitely a lot of losses, but there were some victories I gained.
We made it hard for you, that's for sure. We didn't make it easy, but
wouldn't have been worth it if it was easy.
But that level of competition was instilled in me at a young age. In anything that we did. Anything that we did it to 100%. And he made sure to instill that hard-working concept and competitiveness in me at a very young age. Yeah. To realize everything that you get in this life, you have to work for it. And I was lucky enough to grow up and have a great childhood thanks to him. And not too many people are blessed with that. So I think he really just wanted to make sure that every day that I woke up, that I was grateful for the life that I had, and he made sure that everything that I did was 100% with good intentions and effort.
100%. That's a perfect point right there. Like you said, not everyone is fortunate enough to grow up, with a dad that played 10 years in the big leagues. Is there any lessons that he taught you when you were little that still stick to you? Not necessarily on the field, but mindset and gratitude. What has stuck with you?
I think with him, he always made it a point to make sure, to do good for other people, to never be super selfish, because the moment that you're selfish, you lose sight of everything around you, and when you lose sight of everything around you, and for the people that actually love you, everything kind of falls apart. So I think he just kind of made sure that if you can keep your family circle, that's really all you have at the end of the day, whether times are going good or times are going bad. Those are the people that never give up on you. And he really made that a point to make sure that you love your family and everyone around you is doing good.
100%. And, a lot of times it gets, misconcepted that, you're highly touted prospect out of high school, have these big school offers, get drafted out of high school, sign a professional contract. People think that, it's all pretty and there's no adversity that goes on, but I'm sure you can attest to it. What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced? And thankfully, with the way you were brought up, you're able to overcome them and realize that as long as you have a good circle around you, you can get through anything.
Yeah, At a young age, growing up, I didn't have crazy amount of adversity growing up, so it was kind of like those are lessons I had to learn throughout my experience and throughout my career so far. Some of those scenarios I created on my own growing up, but dealing with that, this game is it's not forgiving. It's gonna challenge you every year, every day, especially in the mental side. Physically, we've thrown a baseball, we hit a baseball probably almost a million times, right? From the time we're little to now. And the biggest key for me is learning, especially at a young age, and guys coming out of college, high school, looking to get drafted, is starting that discipline early on and making sure you have a good routine, because that's going to carry you so much further than kind of going out there and not being grateful for what you have in the moment. And I think that's really the biggest thing is being grateful for every single day that you have out there, because it can end in a blink of an eye. And I've made some mistakes in the past where I'm still lucky to be on my 2 feet today. And that's why every day now I take it with 100% gratefulness and everything around me, I just try to make good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, as it is, we see the numbers. The higher you go up in level, they say it's almost like a funnel. It keeps getting, slimmer and slimmer. So you gotta, make sacrifices to continue to rise to the top. I know you mentioned discipline. What were some of the sacrifices that you had to make in order to, continue to rise above the adversity?
Was really just life choices. I think life choices are the biggest thing. At the time, I wasn't living a life that was very purposeful, and I really made it a point at one time. I had people around me, that weren't fitting my circle, and I thought supporting them or being around them was going to be helpful. And then one day, you know what? I'm going to do this for me, and made a switch, and I just kind of carried on, one day by day, 1 2 days, 1 3 days. Didn't win one day, woke up again the next day, won, and just kind of kept winning day by day. And then I just kept getting better and better in myself. And then I'm luckily I'm here now, and that's all it is.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I think of, at least, and this is with everything, is just, a lot of people will either have a good idea or, realize that they have to change something, but then they're like, I'm going to start, I'm going to do it. But then you keep delaying it, and it kind of never happens. Or when you do pursue it, there's no motivation or discipline behind it. Kind of how important is it to just start? Even like you said, you won a day or two at a time and then failed, but then got right back on. How important is it to just start and build momentum to eventually how you are now?
Starting is the biggest thing. How can you achieve something that you want if you don't start?
Yeah.
Just showing up for yourself is the biggest thing. Just do it. I mean, Nike has the best slogan ever, in my opinion. I mean, literally just do it.
Yeah.
Being there for yourself is the key part. I mean, just knowing that not every day is going to be your best day.
Yeah.
You're going to have more bad days than you are good days, especially in this game.
Yeah.
And that's why the window is so small.
100%. And in all aspects of life, it's so important to, just start. I think that, for example, full transparency, this is my very first podcast that I host. I am surrounded by good people around me that are supporting me, but I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just, figuring this out as I go. But I've had this idea for a while, and if I just kept it as an idea, it never would have happened, and who knows where this is going to go next. Hopefully it continues to grow. I already have a great first guest on here, but if I didn't just start, I don't think I would have got to where I am today and where I know I'm going to be going tomorrow, because this is just the start. But it's about just figuring it out as you go.
I mean, one thing that you do well, Omar, you figure everything out. So I mean, you thrive over a lot of things.
I appreciate it.
I'm just glad that you picked me to be on the pilot, honestly.
Who else would be 001, and then hopefully we have Pops later on, but that's going to be a little out of my budget for now, so we'll keep working on that. But okay, so you get drafted, you sign with the Red Sox. I noticed that, this guy's a dog. He signs with the Red Sox June 21st. 4 days later, he already made his pro debut. A lot of guys, usually wait around. Oh, I just finished the whole season. I just went to the World Series. You got right to it. Kind of what was the first taste of pro ball for you? What was the biggest difference between college?
The routine, honestly, and the amount of games that you play every day. You go from college where you practice pretty much Monday through Thursday, or Tuesday through Thursday. In pro ball, you go, doesn't matter the day, especially at the time. I mean, the rules are different now, but when I signed in 2018, it was Monday through Sunday, and it was every day, no days off. And especially when I first signed, they sent me to rookie ball. You know, you're in primetime summer. Yeah. In Fort Myers.
Fort Myers.
It's hot, so, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Okay, so I had kind of that same experience this past summer playing in Vermont. Shout out to the Lake Monsters. And I got that same routine. It was Monday through Sunday. It's funny because I would wake up like 10, 11, have a breakfast, head out to the field at 1, and then go through the whole day. And I'm getting home like at 11 o'clock at night and then doing it again. But once you get into that routine that you're no longer in school, you're not taking classes, how much easier is it to, just focus on baseball and focus on your craft? How's your time management changed?
Big time. I mean, maybe you realize that the school part of it was good because it distracted you from the baseball. Sometimes the baseball we like to overthink too much. But it was good. You have so much time on your hands. And I think if you want to be great, what you do at the field isn't the only thing you need to do. You need to take what you do at the field and analyze it and work a little bit and do your homework outside the field. The concept of school works around baseball too. You have homework to do if you want to be great. That's what the great ones do. They look at their film, they work on little things here and there. So, 100%.
And obviously, you're a talented guy growing up, but with talent alone, you're not going to get to where you are today and where you're going to be tomorrow. So, how important is that extra work, and how did your days look like during college? Because I know a lot of guys, they'll go to practice, they'll show up early for early work, they'll go to practice and then kind of be done with their day, do a little homework, and then they think that's enough just because they're still having a little success off of skill alone. But, where does that take them without any work?
I mean, to be honest with you guys, for me, school wasn't an option. I'll be honest with you. And I wish I would have put a little bit more time in the school. But school was never an option for me. I knew what I wanted to do at a young age, and that was to play baseball. So even at college, I made it a point. I had practice. I got home from practice, eat a little dinner, and we were in the backyard already working on hitting again, doing extra hitting. So, I mean, every day I was working on my craft as much as I can. And I just think knowing that the development part is more important than the success at the time is big, because not too many people realize that. They want a success so early in life that when things get hard, they have no road. They don't know where to go on the road. They don't know to go left, go right, go straight. And it's like knowing that if you can just win, like again, you stack up your wins, you work hard, and you focus on your development, you're going to be where you want to be. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, the perfect analogy for that is, and it's one my dad uses all the time, it's, yourself and your life is kind of like building a house. You got to build it, from a strong foundation, brick by brick, because if you just try to do it all at once and try to do everything, once you face some adversity, some wins, it'll all fall apart. So, building step by step, little by little, and then growing into that. So what kind of, obviously, besides talent, there's talent everywhere in the minor leagues. As you go up in level, the talent gets better. But what actually, to you, separates guys from good to great and, the ones that are elite? You've played alongside and against some really quality players. So what have you taken from them?
The way that they have fun for the game, honestly. Everybody that's on the come up, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because we want to be at the highest level. And this spring training, I was lucky enough to be around the big league guys that I was in camp.
He was invited to big league spring training. Just say it like that, don't be shy. Invited to big league spring training this year.
I got to be around those guys, and the way you see them mess around is amazing. I'll give you guys an example. This was during the World Baseball Classic. We were in spring training, and Alex Cora made Verdugo and Jaron Duran do a presentation on Mexico because none of those guys have any idea what goes on in Mexico. So Verdugo and Duran, they both dressed up, and they brought in like a little pamphlet of Mexico, and they're describing the whole thing. And then during the stretch, they rented a mariachi band So we're doing stretch while the mariachi's playing, and that was probably one of the best things to be around, honestly, because like just to see the amount of fun that they're having, like, yes, it's their job, but we're like little kids out there, and that's how it should be.
100. I mean, look, this game is already hard enough. If you're out there serious all the time and not having fun, then you're just gonna make it harder on yourself. You see, the best guys in the world are always having a good time, even though you're still respecting the game, but just having a good time out there and enjoying it. What would you say, to kids in college right now, specifically junior college kids that it's kind of their last chance to, move on to the next level, but they're not getting the amount of success that they're working for? How do you, stay strong mentally and not put so much pressure on yourself?
I think the biggest thing is just keep going, right? I mean, if we're so focused on the future, we're not focused on the present day. And if you're not focused on the present day, you're not winning the day. So I think that's the biggest thing for them is to continue about your work and just have faith. Life comes around full circle. If you're really putting 100% every day, how can you lose in life? Honestly,
That's a quote.
How can you lose?
Yeah, 100%. If you, start and keep going. How can you? I don't have words for that.
If you genuinely give 100% in life, you will get rewarded.
Yep.
And there's gonna be a lot of hard days, but that's just the lessons that you have to go through, and you will learn them, and you will get through them.
So what would you say has, is there any moments that have, that you've experienced of adversity during your time in the minor leagues that have, pushed you to keep going? And, obviously I know this year you came back from injury and, we're ramping up again, and then unfortunately got hit by a foul ball, had to get surgery. How do you bounce back from, constant adversity? And, from the outside, people may think, yeah, he plays for the Red Sox. That's my favorite team. That's my dream. And it looks all pretty and like a perfect life. But, kind of how do you bounce back from all those punches, and how do you keep going and fighting?
It's knowing what you want. I know where I'm at right now. I'm not satisfied with that. And I know it's taken a lot of work to get to where I'm at. But I think the biggest thing is when life throws you challenges, you really just have to continue to get back up. And everyone's journey is completely different. Some guys' journeys are very smooth and easy, and other guys have to grind for their stuff.
100%.
But those are the guys that grind and do their stuff are the ones that are remembered. Because when they have what they want, they really appreciate it and they idolize it. So for me, this year I dealt with some adversity. I've been dealing with adversity for a long time. And like I said, every time that I've dealt with adversity, I get through it. It's just another roadblock and just another brick to the house, like your pop said.
100%.
You just adding it, layering it down. And for me, this year I had to deal with some big time adversity. I went to hustle for a double, rolled my ankle. They put me on the injured list. The next day, came back, I was fine. They ended up putting me on the dev list. Dealt with that, so I didn't play for a month really. It's no big deal. Went about my work. It is what it is. This is a business, right?
Yep.
Didn't do anything. Come back from that, bounce back, ended up finishing the year from what I could do.
Yep.
I'll make bad situations look good because I don't put myself in that mindset where I'm like, yeah, this is not going to defeat me.
Yep.
I'll make whatever they're trying to do to me, I'll make it into something special.
Yep. And I think that's great. I think, the only way that you're able to continue to bounce back from adversity and overcome it is how you said earlier, focusing on what you want. I feel like I can attest to this myself. Kids out there, you're at school and, you're not getting the playing time that you want or the role that you feel you deserve or the opportunity. Same thing in your case, you see guys moving up and down levels. Kind of how important is it to just, have a full focus on your own self and what you're doing and not really worried about what's happening for others?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be too selfish, but you have to focus on yourself at times, and you just have to remember this is what you really want. Again, this game is hard, and the good ones are the only ones that keep going up and up and up. So I think really just focusing on yourself at times and remembering your morals. Do I really want to do this, or am I just doing it because someone told me to?
No. I couldn't have said it better myself. So, okay, looking back on my personal career in life, I can think of, certain moments that ended up shaping, who I am today, where I am today, and kind of, things throughout my career. Do you have any specific moments that you can recall that have shaped you to who Eli Marrero is today?
That's a tough one. That's a tough question. I mean,
Good.
I
guess I'm doing my job
making
then.
me think here, man. I just think the situations that I've gone through in my life, in this journey of life, and I'm still going through them. I just think the hard times in my life have really shaped who I am today. And making those tough decisions, those sacrifices that I had to make for me. And again, like, you don't want to be too selfish, but those are times that I have to focus on my self-growth. And I think those are the moments that really shape a person. And for me, that shaped me, and it's helped me grow tremendously through this.
100%. And, for those of you guys that don't know out there, he's saying all this and all the adversity that he's gone through. We're going to pop up some clips, but this guy is, one of the best defensive catchers in all of the minor leagues. And, that's not my opinion. That you can look at the numbers. And, we can have a lot of success, but then in the back of our heads, there's still a lot of stuff that we go through and we deal with every day. And, it's important to sometimes let it out because, especially when we're on the road or we're at school away, sometimes it's hard to find anyone to talk about to your problems and the struggles you're going with. And, you kind of just keep that inside. Some people use it as motivation, but, you shouldn't let any external factors motivate you. Focus on what you want internally, how you're going to accomplish what you want to accomplish, and then, the rest should be history. I want to switch up the topic a little bit. I know that you've called a couple no-hitters in the minor leagues. Kind of take me through that a little bit. What has that experience been like?
It's been good. It's kind of like a trend that I got going on right now. I tend to keep it. I got 3 in a row.
3 years?
3 years running right now.
With no-hitter? Okay, take me through those. I only knew about 2 previously.
I know. Again, when you catch a no-hitter, you have no idea at the time, right? My first one that I caught in 2021, Wu Yellen was the starting pitcher. Heck of a pitcher. He's still with us in the organization. First inning, it was the craziest first inning on that one. He walked 3 guys, and then he strikes out the side. So it's one of those situations. We had like 4 or 5 pitchers go out there. 9th inning comes around, the last out is hit to the shortstop, and I think, all right, no big deal. The game's over, and I see everybody sprinting out onto the field, and they're like, yeah, oh, and I'm like, guys, what? I don't have no idea what's going on. What do we do? I know we didn't clinch playoffs, so we were like second to last. So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they told me to look at the scoreboard, and then I was like, I just did that. And I was like, wow, so that kind of blew me away. That time I didn't really appreciate it as much because I had no idea. My second one I had a little bit better taste, and it was with Brian Bale. I'm sure you know who that is. I'm sure a lot of you know who that is, but that one was special for him because he made his debut that year. And to watch him grow, he actually signed with me in 2018. They picked him up, international free agent, yeah. So I got to see him grow, and it's been good. But that experience was good. You got a guy like that, it's easy. But especially hitters, you kind of got to go about your business normal. You can't change routine. Once you change routine, the pitchers notice. So you got to keep things the same. You got to go over the hitters that you're going to go over and all that. And the one this year in 23, it was this one was more nerve-wracking because I really wanted it, and I knew about it from the 6th inning to the 9th. So I was thinking about it constantly. And I was just kind of hoping to put every right finger down. But I think the most important thing that people don't understand is to get a no-hitter, it's not just you and the pitcher. The guys behind the pitcher have to make great plays, and there were guys that day who made great plays.
It feels like every single no-hitter or perfect game, there's always a great play behind it. It doesn't happen without one.
Always.
And yeah.
Always. We had a guy, Philip Sykes, playing center field that day, and that guy ran into the wall and put his body on the line to save it, and shout out to him. But there were more great plays. I just remember that one because it's right in front of me.
Yeah.
But it definitely it takes all 9 of you on the field to make that happen. But the experience is great. It's like no other, to be honest with you. You get this satisfaction of, I don't know, of excitement, because you did that.
Yeah, 100%.
You put in the time and the effort, and you get rewarded.
Yep. So for all our catchers out there, what's what's your mindset when it comes to pitch calling, and how heavy are you relying on data and analytics now, and how important is it, to instill confidence in your pitching and, lead your staff?
I think the biggest thing is trusting your eyes in this game. We have all the numbers and analytics nowadays that tell you all these things, but just like they tell us that information, the hitters are getting information as well, on what your pitcher does well. So if your pitcher's a ride guy to the top and sliders down, they're going to push his heater down and they're not going to chase sliders down. So it's just really making those adjustments on the fly and playing the game with your eyes. If you can do that and make adjustments as the game goes, you're going to be just fine. Sometimes you have to get off of the pitcher's strength to go to the strengths.
Yeah.
If a guy likes to go to the top of his heater, you're going to have to throw fastballs down and in to righties to get them looking down and then to get back to where you want to get to. So, it's trusting the information that you're given with and then also making the adjustments on the fly.
And how important is the pitcher-catcher relationship to the success of a staff?
The pitcher-catcher relationship doesn't just start pre-game meeting. It doesn't just start in the game. It starts in the bullpens. Especially for us, those relationships start once spring training starts and they throw their first pen. We're already asking, all right, what are we working on today? What do you need us to set up? I think the biggest thing for that is just creating that bond right away. Because those are the guys you spend most of your time with, honestly. Yeah. Is the pitcher, and I just creating a good relationship with them and making sure that you're on the same page with them. Because they wanna drift and. You know how they are. You got to kind of pull them back at times. You've been around some guys. How it is.
A little craziness for sure.
You got to bring them back in like, hey, no. Yeah. So you got to be the leader.
Yeah. But then there's some guys too that you got to lift them up a little bit, that they'll get down on themselves kind of quick.
You definitely have to know your pitchers. Not everybody you could be hard on. Some guys you do have to pat on the butt. But
it takes what it takes. Yeah. So what advice would you give, to kids out there, high school, college, junior college, that, like we touched on at the very beginning, you didn't commit until your senior year of high school. You see a lot of kids nowadays committing in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. Kind of how important is it to embrace your own unique journey and how everybody's path is different? What advice would you give to those guys that are not getting the attention that they deserve right now?
I think it's just keep your doors open, not every door that opens for you is the right door. And I just think, enjoy the journey of it. It's called a journey for a reason. Life is too short, so you do have to enjoy it. But really enjoy the process. Like, soak it in. Enjoy your visits that you go on. Now it may be different, because everybody can go to school 1 year and leave. So I have no idea what's going on now. But, at least back during my recruiting process, it was just really soak it in and enjoy it. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, why do I have to commit my sophomore year? You don't have to. Keep your doors open. Sometimes life will give you the right door at the least time that you expect it. And that's the right door and opportunity that you need to walk into.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. That's wow. That's awesome, man. I'm really happy to have you on here. I have to ask, so, okay, what's next for Eli Marrero in 2024? Let's talk about the future now. Got a big year ahead. I know you're recovering. I know you've already talked a little bit about how you changed your workout routine, more focus on mobility. So what's next for you this upcoming year?
Just right now, finishing getting healthy. That's the biggest thing. That we talked about, off camera, to really getting my body to last 140 something games. Hopefully 162 soon.
Yes, sir.
This year, I'm really focused on, just trying to dominate the year. A couple of years back to back where it's just a couple down years, but I'm definitely excited for this one. Working on my physical and mental. And I think this year I'm just going to come in ready to go and enjoy it. This game has already been tough and it'll wear you down, but I know what I can do and I'm super excited to go showcase my ability this year. It's what I do every year, but I think this year I have a really good feeling what I'm going to do. So.
And I'm going to be here every step along the way watching, hopefully in person. And, I'll hope to I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. I hope to make my first trip to Fenway to see you make your debut.
Well, you
And,
know,
yeah.
you'd be like the first one of the first 3 calls, right?
I hope
I gotta
so,
call
man.
the fam and then I gotta call the wife.
Hey,
But
I hope I'm in the mix, man. As long as I make it out to Boston, we'll make that happen.
well, you know, with me, there's a ticket there waiting for
I
you.
appreciate it. We're gonna have a closing tradition in this podcast. This is not an original idea from me. I got it from one of my favorite podcasts, The Diary of a CEO. They usually end the podcast with a question from the last guest for the current guest. Since you are having the honor of being the first guest, the question today is from me, if you'll pass me that book. And then you'll leave a question for the next guest.
So, oh, I like that.
So it's not my idea. I like it a lot.
I like
I believe the guy's name is Steve or Steven from The Diary of a CEO.
Well, shout out to Steven.
So the question for you, Eli, after hearing your story and understanding the adversity and challenges you faced, what is the reason you do what you do? What drives you to continue to push forward and give it your all day in and day out without any guarantees on if it's going to work?
For me, is remembering my inner child, growing up wanting to play at the big league level. And I always said it, I'm going to be there one day. You know, showing up to the field, watching him play, it always drove me. And I think what keeps me going is not ever being satisfied. At one point in my life, I kind of got a little satisfied with all the attention that I was getting. And baseball almost got taken away from me. So what keeps me going today is remembering my inner child self. And I think if you could keep that inner child self, you're gonna continue to win in life. Because you can never lose sight of that child. You know, we grow up to be men and adults, but for me, that is the biggest thing. And I will continue to thrive in this life because I will not give up until I reach my goal and then some.
Eilh Marrero, everybody. My brother,
appreciate you,
I
man.
appreciate
Thank
you. Please take a second to come up with a question for our next guest. Not sure who it's going to be yet, but it should be.
I know you got some good ones, though.
We'll see what happens. If you guys are still here watching, thank you for watching this late into the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this and got some kind of value out of this.
There you go. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
It's not bad.